Hey guys, Shock on the Block here. How's it going? So, I'm here to do a little tutorial about how to get your hands on the models from Psychonauts 2 because I noticed trying to do it myself I had some issues and I had to figure out some things to get it to work myself. And I wanted to try to reach out to this guy, or I think it's a girl, I'm not really sure. This person, Bach Pikmin 456, let's just call them Bach. They made a post saying that they put characters into VR chat from Psychonauts 2 and Rhombus of Ruin. And I thought to myself, maybe they could help me. And I did like message them. I replied to one of these messages on here. Maybe I should have DM'd them. I don't know if they take DMs. I'm not the best with Twitter. Not the best at like using Twitter. I like go over here and try to. I guess you can message them there. Okay. I guess I could have tried that, but I didn't think of that. I'm not. I I thought replying on their Twitter page right here, their thread would be enough. That they would be like, oh, a person is messaging me on the thread. Let me answer their question. So I did reach out to them. I can't find the post right now, but it was there, and I did say, hey, would you be able to help me get the models so that I can get them into Neos VR? Because I want to put them into this other social VR game that's not VR chat that I like better than VR chat. It's called Neos VR. I like it a lot better because you can actually interact with objects and build your own worlds a lot easier, and it's just more fun. But they never replied to me. They never replied to my message, so I just was like left in the dark, like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever figure out how to get these models or not. So I tried on my own to rip the models using Unreal Engine Viewer. This is like a model viewer that allows you to export Unreal Engine models because Psychonauts 2 and Rhombus of Ruin are working with the Unreal Engine, which I'm surprised that there's a program out there that's just like, oh, if you want to look at the models in these games, just open it up and export it, and it might work, maybe, hopefully. And it does work a lot of the time, apparently. So that's pretty cool. What I did is that I would try to do it, and it would give me an error. It would say, error virtual textures not supported. I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, that's weird. And so I was just like, what do I do? And I kept like, I would Google it. I wouldn't really get much of an answer of people encountering this a whole lot or much of a workaround either. So at one point I thought, what if I just Google my exact issue? So I can't show how I found this, but I can show the screenshot I took of the post that I found from Bach on a forum. I'm not sure what forum this was. I think it was either Face Punch or I'm pretty sure it was actually like the Unreal Engine viewer forum, like the forum that's based upon this viewer software. They said that they were having the same issue I was having. They were posting about the same issue I was having, and it's Bach. It's Bach, the person who got them into VR chat. So this is like before they got them to work. And so this is them telling people, hey, I tried to get it to work, I couldn't. And then he says later, oh, I contemplated on sending this message for a while, but I did manage to export Raz's model. I can't remember what version I used, but I think I disabled all those view/export object types except for skeletal mesh and morph target. Damn it, if only I could remember what exactly I did because I can't seem to replicate it. Later on, I was able to find a perfect version and only had textures and light maps enabled to which I could export them all textures if I selected them only. Then it all works fine, but I had to retexture the eyes myself in Blender. Does anyone know a better solution rather than me trial and erroring until I find a perfect version? But I'll probably still be doing that until then. So this post was deleted. You can't access it unless you click on the three dots on the side of the link that Google pops up for me, and you click on cache, like cached. It's like cached data of the original post, so you can view it that way. That's how I got access to it. And so this really helped me out and helped me manage to actually figure out how to rip the model. And I'll show you the step-by-step I did. I won't just tell you this and then that's it. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to rip the models. But yeah, here's Raz in Neos VR. I managed to get him working in Neos VR. It took a lot of time and effort because I had to do all the blend shapes myself with the mouth moving, and I had to fix the eyes just like they did. I had to go in and I had to retexture the eyes, which wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hard. And yeah, it works great. The only problem is that it has this weird issue on the model where the shirt lights up, but that's only in the mirror. It's only in the mirror, because in person, with people in the room, in the game, it doesn't light up. The shirt does not light up like that. It doesn't have that glitch. But in the mirror, it does. It's kind of weird. It happens randomly sometimes. Sometimes it won't happen in the mirror. Sometimes it will. But it's not a big problem, because it's not like you're going to have a mirror in front of you all the time in Neos. So that's not a problem. But I was going to show that I was able to get reflections to work. As you can see, the goggles have a nice specular reflection, nice shiny. Specular is a type of texture map that allows it to be shiny and reflective. And I got that to work in the eyes as well. The eyes are also somewhat reflective and shiny, just like eyes usually are. And yeah, looks pretty good. And so let me show you how I managed to achieve this. So I'll leave a link in the description for this website. This is where you go to get the UE viewer, the Unreal Engine viewer, and you download it. And then you click on Win32 version for Windows, unless you're running Linux, which I don't use Linux. So you download it, and it gives you a zip file. And wait for it to download. Then you open it, and I use WinRAR. You can use different software to open it. So you can either open it like this, or you can go to where you download it and then paste it into the desktop. Or just, I mean, you could also save it directly to desktop if you know how to do that. Or you could go to where you download it in your downloads folder, and you could have it right here on the desktop, and then you could make a new folder, and call it a UE viewer. And then just push enter twice, and enter twice will open up the folder. And then you could either open it and grab the files inside of here and drag it over like this, or you can grab the zip file, put it in the folder, and then just right click extract here. I've actually heard from most people that they find it much easier just to put the zip file in there and then just click extract here. Usually stuff like this, like especially WinRAR files, and this is not a RAR file, but sometimes they'll be able to be extracted just by anywhere, and then they'll make a folder of their own. But this one doesn't have a folder of its own, so you have to make a folder for it. Anyway, so with that out of the way, next you need to figure out where is your Psychonauts 2 game located. Where are the game files located for your game? You can easily find that out by going to Steam. Let's go to your Steam library. So I did that by going to the system tray, by clicking on Steam and clicking on the library right here. Or you can just double click right here and then just bring this up and then go to library. And then you just type in on the search here to find it, because I have so many games. You type into the search thing here, you can find Psychonauts 2, and then you right click it, go to manage, and then browse local files. And then this is the location of where it is. I have it on my external drive, the IM drive. You go here and you click right here, and it'll highlight. Whoops! Don't want to make it. Don't want to make a shortcut. You highlight this, you copy, and then you open up UML 64. Most people are using 64-bit at Windows. If you're not using 64-bit, then do regular. But I'm using 64-bit, so I'm going to load 64. And then you want to click Override Game Detection, so that way you tell it exactly what version that you want it to use. And to find out which version to use, because I actually forget which version, you right-click on Psychonauts.exe, and click Properties, and then go to Details, and it'll tell you right here it is UE4 release 4.6, so we're going to be using 4.6 version. So go down here, click the Unreal Engine 4.26, and then now you have to decide whether you want to do a model export first or a texture export first. So in order to not have an error and to be able to export stuff, you have to export the model separately and export the textures separately. You can't export them both at the same time within the same instance, unfortunately. So for exporting a model, we'll just uncheck all of these and just leave skeletal mesh and morph target checked. And then we go over here to the top box and we highlight with our mouse, click and drag to highlight, and then we right click and click paste, and then we have where the game is located. Then we click OK, and then it will find all the game files, and it will bring up all this, which is all the stuff that's in the game. This is the engine. Don't worry about the engine. Don't worry about those. This is the game. Go see game, and then here's the stuff that's in the game. Here's characters. So if you want a character, go in the character folder. It's very basic, very nice. that you can just go in here and be like, oh, here's this character, here's that character. Who is Aaron? I've never actually looked at this person before. Oh, nothing's there. I must have selected. Oh, it's this one. Oh, they're one of the interns. Okay, yeah, let's see, one of the intern characters. Yes, I remember him. I just didn't know his name was Aaron. You see, that's the thing, is that the interns, their names are like only a few of them are memorable in my eye. Like some of them are just kind of there, but other ones, they're pretty memorable. Like Sam, she's the most memorable for me. Anyway, back on topic. So see, you go over here. So as long as it says character name and then rig, then you can find them. And they're not going to be textured properly. You're going to have to export the textures and then figure out how to texture it within the program yourself. That's another downside to this. But I mean, that's what you get for ripping a model. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be easy and super simple. It's you're ripping it from a game that you didn't create, so of course it's going to be like this, and you're going to have to do some extra work. But it's not that hard if you know how to do stuff like this. If you're familiar with modeling and you know how to texture stuff, if you know how to just apply textures, it's really simple. But you don't have to know how to retexture. You don't have to know how to fix textures. You kind of have to do, because sometimes you might have a problem. Like for instance, Raz's eyes are not textured properly for whatever reason when you export them. Kind of weird. Anyway, you go down here. Here's Raz, and then double click there. Raz rig. There it is. And that's the default one. I found something interesting. So this is his default, and that's he's like, oh, that's it. This is all there is. Like, no, there's actually more. If you click on the little arrow to open his folder further, you can find that he has the different outfits from the game. And so what I found was that you have to go to this other folder that says outfits, and then you click on the arrow, and then you look at all the folders that are in that folder, and you see Raz Helm. So this is when he's in Helmet's mind, and he's got all the like brightly lit textures. Looks all like, I don't know, like neon. And then this is when he's in Hollis, Agent Forsyth's mind, and this is like his skeleton one, I believe. I'll show you that. Yeah, this is his X-ray model, which is pretty cool. When that's, you can barely even see that model when you're playing that part of the game. Like, you can't see it that well. It's really small because it's the 2D basic look zoom out of the game, so you can't see it as well. But yeah, you can look and see what that is close up. And then this is when he's in the race, when he's pretending to be the heart in the race. He's got the bag over his head with the heart picture on it. And then this is HQ, which is the same as the basic model, the same as the regular model. But I'm thinking that this is used for the in-game. It's the in-game model, and then the other one is for cutscenes. But they look the same. They look virtually the same. I don't see I see barely any difference between them. So I don't know if there's anything that different, because I ripped both models. And the only thing I see that's different is that the way the materials are set up. The materials are just set up in a different order. That's the only difference. I don't see any difference between the model or the textures they use. So yeah. And then there's Raz intro, which is without his hat, and he's got the business suit on in the intro. So that's pretty cool. You can get that model as well from the intro cutscene. And then there's the one where if you're in Lobato's mind, you've got the business suit, but you also got the headgear on with goggles. And then this is marked P1. So Psychonauts 1 version Raz. This is how he is early on in the game before you get the new clothes. So his original clothes are this model right here, which is pretty cool. So you can get all of his stuff. You can even get his underwear if you really want. Have his weird look of him in his circus underwear. Kind of bizarre, but it's pretty neat. You can look at all these. And so how do you export it, you may ask? Well, let's see. Let's go in here. We got it open right here, right? And then you click export. Or I think what I did actually was I went over here. Tools, export current object. And then make sure you're selecting PNG when you're doing textures. You do PNG for textures. And then PSK. Make sure it's PSK and PSKX. and then just export it anywhere where you can find it. So it's going to export to the folder we made, and then it's going to export to another folder called UModel export. So just click OK, and they'll export the model. You go to this other link I'll have in the description, which is for Blender. It's an add-on that allows you to import PSK files, PSK model files, which are the Unreal Engine one that we just exported. And so you just go over here, click on code, click on download zip, and you get the master zip file. Download that. Alright, so then... Alright, so in order to install this Blender add-on, we need to do it manually rather than the way where you get a zip file and install it that way. You need to actually install it manually within a folder. So go to your C drive, then go to users, and go your user file, your name, and then go to app data, and then roaming, and then Blender Foundation, Blender, and you'll see the different versions you have installed. If you look at your zip file and you go into the folder of your zip file and go to add-ons, you'll see that you have two py files. These are like Python script files. You'll see that you have one that's 270 and 280. These are for different versions of Blender. So depending on which version you use, you would drag in 270 for any 2.70 ones. I would recommend the 280 since that's the one I used. So just do it for either 282 or whatever 28 you have, or do 291. It'll work on 291. I have 291 that I use primarily, so I use that one for pretty much everything. So that's the one I'm going to drag it into. So open up 2.91, go to scripts, go to add-ons folder, and then just click on the 280 one, and then drag it in. And then I already have it in there, so I don't need to drag it in. And it'll just be in that folder. It'll be good. And then the next thing you need to do, click on the Windows button at the bottom, what we used to call the Start button, and then type in Blender, push Enter to load up Blender, and then just click to get out of that little window that pops up. Click on Delete, press Delete to get rid of the cube. Click File, click on Edit, go to Preferences, and then you go over here to get over here to the search box and type in PSK, and then you'll find the import Unreal Skeleton Mesh file, and then you just check mark it. Just check mark the box right here. I already have a check mark, but it'll be unchecked for you. Just check mark it, and then go ahead and just leave it like that. And then click Close, and then go to File, Import, and you'll be able to see you have Skeletal Mesh and Skeleton Anim, two different types of files. You PSK, and then you'll want to navigate to your desktop. So you go to C drive, and then you go to users, your name, and then for me and for a lot of Windows 10 users, it's OneDrive. For some reason, Windows likes to keep everything on OneDrive in case you ever want to back it up onto OneDrive, but I never use OneDrive. So it might take a second, depending on how many things you have on your desktop. It might take a little bit to load there, because Blender has to load all the folders up. So scroll down, go to your UE Viewer folder, go to UModel Export folder, Game, Characters, Raz, Outfits, Raz, and then import the PSK file that you find inside, and then we have the model. And I hope you know how to use Blender, because I'm not the best with Blender. I usually just import these things into here, and then I export them as FBX file. Then I can put them into Maya. I like to use Maya to fix up the model and texture it and whatnot. So I hope you know how to use Blender or whatever program you're using, because I can't really show you how to get this to look the way you want in Blender, but I can show you how to do it in Maya. So I'll show you my method there in a second here. But here we have Raz, and here are all his bones. Yes, he is rigged. He's got a great rig. We can get his rig. That's awesome. You don't have to rig it yourself. You don't have to go and get Mixamo to rig it and possibly not do the best of job with that, because its automatic rigging thing isn't the best, but it sometimes works okay. Anyway, we got a nicely rigged Raz, and it's great. But it will take some work to get it to the point that you would like it to be at in order to have it functioning for VR chat or Neos VR or something like that. Alright, so you have Raz import into your modeling program of choice, and you're like, wait a minute, Shock, you didn't talk about the textures. How do I get textures? Oh, well, yes, of course. You need to open the UE viewer again, and then do what you did before, override, and then choose engine 4 and engine 4.26, and then you just uncheck. Instead of unchecking everything except for skeletal mesh and morph target, this time you uncheck skeletal mesh, morph target, animation, static mesh, and just leave texture and light map checked. And then of course you need to make sure to have your folder still open with the Psychonauts 2 game in here, and right click and click copy on where it's located again, and then highlight, right click and click paste. Make sure it's like going to find where the game files are so they can open the game files. You have to do that. Sometimes I forget that step. So then we go back into characters, scroll down, find Raz, and then we go over to this one that we're using is the HQ outfit. So we go to outfit _ HQ folder, and then we should be able to find his texture files, which are these U asset files. So BC, that's like his, I guess, basic texture, and then the N is normals, which is like a bump map texture that like bumps out and further details the texture. I don't know what ROM is. ROM is like this really red. Oh, this doesn't look red. But anyway, I don't know what the ROM texture is. It looks really weird. It's either like green and red or like really red. I'm not sure what it does. Not sure what it's for. But we don't have to worry about it because it's not required. So let's just double click his body texture. And we see the texture here. This is for his clothes and body and hands. So we just go to Tools, Export, and then make sure you select PNG right here and not TGA. PNG, because most programs you can't really open TGA in, and PNG is just easier to edit and mess with if you want to, edit the textures and change it at all, which sometimes I like to change stuff just for customization for the fun of it. And so we do OK, and then we go over here, make sure it exported OK, and we can see it's in the Outfit HQ folder, and here's the texture file. So we'll go in here, we'll find its other textures. This is the normal map. Go ahead and export that, and then we go in here and find the bag. This is for his bag, satchel. Aha! So his other textures are in the P1 folder, outfit _ P1, so Psychonauts 1. I always thought it was like player 1, but no, it's you can think of it like that as well, because it's the main character, but no. Oh, I like protagonist. It could also stand for protagonist 1. I don't know. That wouldn't really make sense. Who's protagonist 2? Is it Lily? Is it some other character? But no, P1 probably for Psychonauts 1. So here we have all his other textures, like his other body. So this is his normal clothes for his, so the one I did earlier is actually the one you wouldn't use for the original outfit. This is the original outfit for Psychonauts 1 Raz. So you get that, and then the backpack is different as well. And there's the backpack texture. That's not the hat. The hat is a different texture. Actually, the hat is referred to as a helmet in the files. See, this is the helmet, which actually is the same texture for the one on the HQ one if you prefer the Psychonauts 2, like, new HQ texture outfit. And then we have pens. This is the Psychonauts official pen that he wears at the end of the game, I think. I'm not sure if he wears it throughout the entire game, but he does like get it at some point, and it is on the model. It's at least on the HQ model. I'm not sure if it's on the original model that you start out with, like the original Raz that we're looking at, but yes, it apparently is a part of this because it's in the P1 folder. So here are the eyes, and I'll show you that I actually had to go in and change the eye texture. That's one of the main reasons why I export it as a PNG. So there's the head, and then we go in, and I already did the helmet, and then skin detail. I'm not sure what this is. I didn't know he had this. This is interesting. Perhaps, since it's black and white, perhaps this is like a Ambient occlusion? It doesn't look like that, but it might be. It might be like ambient occlusion or something. I'm not sure. It's a skin detail thing, so not sure what that's about. Apparently, there's also a bump map board as well, a normal map, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what Sparkle Cube map is for either, so just ignore those. We only need the main textures for Raz. So go back into your modeling software, click on Raz, and then make sure you go to smooth polygons. So mesh, so not mesh smooth. You don't want to mesh smooth. You want to go to normals and then go to soften edge. So this softens the polys so that I'll show you without the joints on. So this makes it so it looks nice and actually good. Like all the polygons are smooth and softened together. Everything as it should look. This is what it looks like when you import it. When you import it, you can see all the polygons and little pieces of the model. You don't want to see it like that because that's going to make it look like a toy or a model or a bunch of polygons. It looks like a basic video game thing. It doesn't look like an actual person. It doesn't look good. So you want to be able to go to normals and soften edge and make sure everything looks all together and good. And normal, I'll leave the joints off. You just go to show and then click uncheck joints if you want to not have those on there for now. And then material. So this is called material 0, material 1, material 2. So what helps me is that in order for me to figure out which ones are for which type of texture, I just go in, I click on a random color, and I click on the random color, and the color will show me, okay, this is the backpack. So I rename this to backpack material. And then in order to give it that material, don't even worry about the fact that you colored it blue. Just click on this box and just click File. All right, so I had to switch versions of Maya because the other version is giving me issues. So you click on the folder button and you go and find where the texture is located. I'll export games, characters, Raz, outfit P1, and then find his backpack, his backpack texture. Apply it and make sure you have texture display on. So there you go. There's his backpack texture. Yep. So you just do that for every single material. And you can rename it so you know which one's which for whenever you need to look at it and mess with it. And then you just go and do that for every single one. So this one is his clothes. So we go in and we look for body. That's his body texture. So we got it. There we go. His body's textured. So this is his eye texture. So you go over and you open eye. But as you can see, his eyes look weird and like not green. They're like black. That's because they're not textured properly. So we go to Windows, Modeling Editors, UV Editor, and then right click, Face, double click, Shift, double click. We can select all of his UVs, go to 2 UVs, and have it be UV texture, and then drag it out. And we don't need to worry about this part, we just need to worry about this part. And we just go to UV shell. So here's the new texture file for the eyes. Let's go back into the UV editor. We just drag the UV of the eye on top, and we just make it really big, and then we just make sure it lines up with where the eye pupil would line up. And then there you go. Now his eyes are textured properly. And then then the rest of it is a piece of cake. You just go in and you just put all the textures on them, and then you're good. And then you can just export it and use it for whatever you want. If you want to get rid of his little intern piece of paper label thing, you can just go into edit the mesh with face or whatever you're using. Just go in, edit the mesh, select the thing, just like don't delete it, because deleting it will mess up the rig of the character. So just go in and shrink it. Just go in, shrink it down with the scale, and just drag it into himself so that you can't see it. So you're like hiding it away. So you're like, okay, don't want to see it, don't need it, and then there you go, it's gone. And then like once you get the textures on there, you got it good, and then you go to File, you export it as FBX, and then you can put it into anything you want. If you want the mouth to work the way you want it to, you go into the bones here, and you find the jawbone, and the jawbone opens like this. But don't use don't use move. Do not use the move. Use the rotate. Use rotate and rotate it down like this, and it will actually open like it should, really nice and gradual and easy, and should open really nice. I learned that myself. I was like, wait a minute, like it doesn't look good when you open it with the moving tool. You gotta use the rotate. Because that looks weird. All right, so there you go. But I'm gonna tell you right now that you don't need to export Raz yourself. I'm going to put this onto Mall Resources and allow people to actually get them all already fixed up, already textured, already ready to go. And I'll have Raz ready to go for people to download him and have him already there. I'll have what I have so far on there. So it'll have this Raz without blend shapes, because I haven't made any blend shapes for this Raz yet. Just, you know, as it is, but the textures will all be on there, be textured properly, and you'll have the rig and everything, and then I'll just have it on there, and then if you want, you can keep his intern badge, or I'll have one without the intern badge as well. So I'll have this Raz in there as well that you can download, and as you can see, he's kind of like smiling a little bit here. He kind of looks like more of a pleased look in his face. When you export it, it looks more like just a resting face, like a blasé resting face. It's kind of like not as pleasing to your eyes. So when I wanted to put it into Neos for an avatar, I made him look a little more happier, like a little bit like more satisfied, not like super happy, like but like, you know, like just satisfied, kind of nice look. And I opened his eyes a bit more because his eyes look more open and awake and like yay, you know, and less like you know, boring, like whatever. So that's what I did to alter the Mall a little bit when I put him in the Neos VR. And yeah, I'll have different versions of this Mall available on Mall Resource at some point. I don't know if I'll have it like right now when this video goes up, but I'll have it as soon as possible. And if I do have it, I will link it below in the description for you guys so you can download it and enjoy it and have a good time with it. So I don't have all the Malls ripped yet. I've only done Raz like this one the most. I've done 2 is this one. And then I also have the original outfit one. The other ones I don't have ripped. But I am putting this video out there so I can get the word out on how to rip the Malls, so other people can go, oh, this is cool, I want to get the Malls, and then other people can rip the Malls, and we can have, like, eventually as many Malls as possible ripped and put out there onto the web so people can access them easily and use them for whatever they would like. And yeah, I really hope this helped people out and help people discover how to get Malls out of Psychonauts 2. And it should work the same for Rhombus of Ruin, I believe, because it uses the exact same thing. Let me just confirm that for you. Okay, so I can't figure out how to get Rhombus of Ruin to work with the UE viewer, but I know that it's possible, and all the Malls are already ripped and put into Gary's mod. It's on a Gary's mod ragdoll pack. And if you want, I could just see if Mr. Prom, who I have contacted in the past, could allow me to just put those Malls onto Mall Resource. Or I could possibly ask Mr. Prawn if he would so graciously allow me, or he could himself put the Malls onto Mall Resource so people could enjoy them and use them themselves. I'll ask him about that because I can't seem to get U model to work or UE viewer to work with Rhombus of Ruin myself. I don't know what the method is for that. It's not working with the same method that I used for Psychonauts 2. So if I try to go to like Raz, it just gives me a weird error. If I go to Raz Skeleton, it gives pretty much the same error. So I don't know how to do it with Rhombus of Ruin. Not that I really mind, because the models are mostly all ripped. All the ones that people want are all ripped on Gmod. It's just a matter of getting them off of Gmod, or just asking Mr. Prom for help if he would be nice enough to allow me to just have access to them if he wants. And yeah, so it's not a big deal for me because most of the models already are in Psychonauts 2 and they look even better in that game. But if you really want Lily's like original outfit model, perhaps then I guess you'd have to do the Gary's mod thing. But yeah, we'll see about that. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it really helped you guys out. And I hope this will show people how to export models, and more we can get more models exported, and people can start taking apart this game some more and looking at stuff and figuring out what else we can do with the assets from the game. So yeah, that's it. This is Shuck on the Block. Have a good day. I'm signing out.